while the syrup is burning,
Boiling.
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 I started saying
Boiling.
burning.
Not burning. If it was burning, we wouldn't be talking.
You'd be scamming. I've heard a story about a B-25 one time, about landings. Well, first they said it landed in Red Lake, which didn't do, you could see it. The pilots had to jump out and the plane crashed. What do you know about that?
So here's the backstory that I know. It's been told to me. Told to me by Sid and Marge Rommel of Grand Rapids, Minnesota. Sid worked for the Department of Natural Resources pretty much all of his adult life as a forester. And he and Marge were stationed up in the Link Lake area, which is northern part of the county up on the old scenic highway. And the story is that a B-25 came out of the southeastern United States area on a run, and something malfunctioned with the airplane. It was uncontrollable. They couldn't come back and land it. It had no munitions on it, but they had put it in autopilot, chart it to someplace north on into northern Minnesota, into southern Canada, away from the population area, because they knew it was going to run out of fuel and eventually crash, so they wanted to get it away from people. And the pilots bailed out, and everyone knew it was coming. They got on the radio and said, go on, look for pilots. And Marge and Sid found either 2 or 3 of the crew members that had bailed out. They were okay. They brought them back to the Ranger headquarters there at Link Lake. And they talked to them. They said, you know, these guys were from all over the United States. And the plane, if I remember correctly now, the plane had burst a fuel line, and there was fuel sloshing around inside the cavity of the plane itself. So these guys were just soaked in fuel, in gasoline, I believe. And they were sick, they were soaked, but they were fine. The plane continued on in someplace into southern Manitoba, someplace in there, and eventually crashed out into the bush. But it made it out of Minnesota. The pilots were okay, and they got them back down to Grand Rapids and got them on into the military hands someplace and got them on back.
Did they ever find the airplane in Canada?
I don't know that end of the story, but here's what Marge said, is that they had so much gas on their clothes and it hailed so much that they were burping, and every time they burped gas next to one of the, they didn't have enough electricity up there, they had a Coleman lantern, the lantern flamed up a little bit more. Sid said it never happened, Marge swore it did.
It's a wonderful story, though.